Rookie is lounging here on our set, and he is hosting this show.
I am total casual right now because I know that this could possibly get me in big trouble.
Yeah, so you're feeling like you
just
might reveal
cash and
too
kick
much.
back. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We've all been in arguments before, but we also have to admit to ourselves that sometimes we are on the wrong side of the argument. This is a safe space.
Yes.
It's okay when we're in the wrong.
It is very difficult to admit that you're wrong.
Right.
It is. And when you are fighting, why is it so hard to admit that we're wrong?
We're wondering this. So we turn to an expert to find out why people do what they do. Dr. Karin Ryan from Nystrom and Associates is here with us. Okay, I'm so glad that you're here because that's the big million-dollar question. Why is it so hard for us as human beings to admit that we're wrong? Maybe even more men human beings.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And you think about when you're in an argument or you're having conversation about something, it's oftentimes tied to something that's important to you. And so it's connected to your ego. It's kind of connected to your identity oftentimes. And so when you think about arguments that are, or debates that are connected to something that's important to you, we tend to get more defensive about it.
Yes. Okay, so it's embarrassment, shame, guilt, all those things. And then we feel like maybe if we just stick in the I'm right, we won't have to then experience those uncomfortable emotions.
Right, yeah, we'll double down. We almost like double down. We try to justify our behavior, and we only kind of dig ourselves deeper into this hole trying to avoid feeling guilty or shame or embarrassment.
But this is someone that you would walk on hot coals for.
Yes.
For everybody, male and female.
Yes.
Why then can't we get over that hump of, okay, I screwed up, I left the garage door open and they took the snowblower. I'm in big trouble. Not that that's ever happened to me, but I do get in trouble for not locking the garage door. But that's, you love this person. Why does silly stuff like that, it's like it's pent up or I screwed up, give me a little ease on me, ease off.
Yeah. It has to do with your own internal dialogue and your own internal thoughts about, is it okay to be wrong? Do I give myself permission to not be right? What does it mean if I say, I'm so sorry I messed up and that snowblower got taken, like that was my bad? Can we tolerate that? And then it's also interpersonally, do we trust how that person's gonna respond?
Okay, that's a big one.
Right, is this person gonna respond with grace and say, oh, we all do dumb things, right? And so that's kind of a part of it too. So it's not only your own personal beliefs about, do I give myself permission to be wrong at times?
Right.
It's also, how is this person going to respond to me?
We also like to win. I mean, people like winning. I mean, winning feels great. Losing feels not as great. I think we learned that very early on, and you see that even with your children. Even when you don't think that you've necessarily raised them in a competitive way, they're like little tiny, and it's like if so like the idea of losing feels, I don't know, it's like, let's just make everybody lose then and ruin the whole time for everyone.
Totally. You're right, and like humans, we like to be right. We like to win. I mean, it's like why bingo is awesome, why like game shows are awesome, right? And it's realizing like, but in this argument, do I really win? Like what happens if I dig my heels in and have this blind spot? What actually happens in the end? Do I get closer to this person? Do I feel better about myself? Is a problem solved? Have I learned anything? And so it's like, am I really winning?
Yeah, am I really winning or is everyone losing? I think that's really interesting because you talk about your relationship and how if you can't admit that you're wrong, what is the impact that that has over time on your relationships? Like what does the other person feel like?
Yes, and it's being able to pull it away and be like, this isn't really tied to my identity. Like, is it connected to like, do I think I'm a good husband or am I a good man? Am I smart enough? Have I made the right decision? Am I a good mom? And it's being able to see that this one mistake is not at the core of who you are. It's one little piece. It's not actually part of your identity.
Is there a chart as to, say you didn't put the doggy gate up for the Pomeranian that you have one night.
This is a different Pomeranian.
And then he went potty or pooped somewhere. And not that I've ever gotten in trouble for that, but is there a length of time that you should be? You don't do charts. It's just in general, right?
Yeah,
just in general. Okay, so you can be mad for a little bit. Second time, third time you're out. Third time you're out. I got that, hon.
Right, and it's, if you admit you're wrong, right, and then you can learn from it. What did I do? Was I too rushed that morning? What could I do differently? If I admit that I'm wrong, and maybe I'm forgetting too many things, maybe then I'll think make it different. Instead of just being mad at yourself, it's what didn't work in that morning, so I remember it.
I love that
Instead of feeling like you're dumb or bad.
That's so great because then you're also like opening up this vulnerability where if I admit admit I was doing, okay, I was wrong. I messed up. I was doing 10 things at one time. I mean, this is like my life. And then
same.
I feel like it's an opportunity for my husband to go, okay, well, wait a second. She forgot that because she's got 15 other things. Like maybe I should step in and take care of some of these things so she doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, or it can be, what can we do together to figure this out so we have a better plan?
Okay, what do you want us to do to help us give ourselves that permission and that empowering feeling that we can admit that we're wrong?
Yeah, that we're all human. We all make mistakes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then that creating that culture. So like if you can be brave and be that first person in the relationship, in the family to start modeling, oh shoot, I was wrong. And I dug my heels in here, but I see now that this might be a better way to do it. So if you can model that, it really is contagious in a good way.
Sure. All right, well, I've got some
feel,
tips to
Ricky?
work on.
I feel good, yeah. Is it easier for you to admit you're wrong or your wife?
I am the first to say, I'm a peacemaker.
Yeah.
But I'm always wrong. That's the problem. She's always no. We do have a great relationship, and there's ups and downs. But
Yeah.
I am the one that wants to. Usually, because I messed up, I want to go right to it and
Yeah.
Smooth
she's
it
like,
over and
yeah,
move forward.
hey, let's just give me some time here a
Yeah.
little bit. Let's process
Yeah,
this.
you bet.
But
Absolutely.
it's also healthy. I mean, I don't remember the last time we had a super fight, but you have little stuff that you bicker about,
absolutely.
and you realize at the time or after, really wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah, and it's knowing what's our hot buttons. Like there's some things that are super easy for me to apologize for, right? Like I'm horrible at directions. So it's like, oh, yeah, I was wrong. You're right. Sorry,
You knew that was
not
coming.
way.
Yeah.
Right, where other things like parenting
Yeah.
or about am I being too bossy or too anxious about plans, like then that's harder for me to admit I'm wrong because that taps into more of a kind of a core issue of mine.
Dr. Ryan, this is such good stuff. It's
Yeah.
so nice to see you again. Thank
Good
you
to
for the
see
free
you.
therapy. We appreciate you very much. Nystrom and Associates provides care in the fields of psychiatry, psychology, family therapy, and more, and they have 20 locations.
Wow.
In the Twin Cities. I just can't recommend, Dr. Ryan's so good and her team is wonderful. They work with couples, families, and individuals of all ages. And if you're struggling with any kind of stress or anxiety, depression, or addiction, or you just feel like, I just want to feel a little better, just reach out to them today.